Good evening and welcome back to 31 Horror Nights. It's October 9th and tonight's movie is A Tale of Two Sisters. A Tale of Two Sisters is a South Korean movie from 2003 about two sisters. The trailer that I saw was pretty vague when it comes to the actual content of the movie. It could be anything from like a haunted house to an evil sister to ghost possessing a sister and making her evil. I have seen some really good South Korean horror movies. The two that rise up to the top are Train to Busan and Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. Hopefully we can add this to the list of really good K-horror movies. I'm gonna go give it a watch. Okay, I think I'm going to break the format today and not do a spoiler-free review of this movie because there's nothing in this film I want to talk about that doesn't involve going into spoilers. Overall, I would say that A Tale of Two Sisters is okay. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But in order for me to really go into detail as to why I'm going to have to spoil it, it's a 20-year-old movie. I guess that kind of comes with the territory. So keep watching or don't. I'm going to go into spoilers now. Okay, I really feel like this is a study about how difficult it is to walk on the knife's edge of a good plot twist. This movie has several twists and turns, and some of them are executed better than others. And even though I haven't seen it, I did read a plot summary of the American remake of it, The Uninvited, and I think I was able to put together that movie fumbled in a way completely opposite of this one. From what I can tell, the issue a lot of people had with The Uninvited was that they telegraphed the twist way too early and ruined the surprise, very much like Goodnight Mommy did, in my opinion. A Tale of Two Sisters, on the other hand, was so subtle that it was hard to follow, and it made both the twists themselves and the build-ups to the twists very confusing. The titular two sisters of this movie are Soo-mi and Soo-yeon. They're like teenagers, I think. They also have a dad and a stepmother named Yoon-ju. That's probably not how you say it, and I don't even remember them ever saying her name at all in the entire movie. The movie begins with one of the sisters being in this mental hospital and being interviewed, and you never see her face, so you don't know which of the sisters it is. But apparently, either one or both of the sisters came back to the house, and strange things start happening. The stepmother is very abusive to them, and the stepmother also sees a lot of scary paranormal activity in the house, and she blames the daughters on it. And this keeps going, and eventually it leads to the twist that Soo-yeon is dead, and Soo-mi was just imagining her this entire time. That twist, I think, was executed fine. It did seem a little out of nowhere, because, I guess looking back on it, there weren't really any instances of anybody except for Soo-mi and the stepmother talking to Soo-yeon, and we'll get to that stepmother thing in a moment. I definitely prefer the execution of that same twist here way more than in Goodnight Mommy, because in that one it was made very obvious very quickly that one of the brothers was not real. But that did raise the question. You see the stepmother interact with the supposedly dead sister multiple times, and it made me wonder, okay, is the twist that she's dead? Or is the twist that the dad is crazy, because he's the one who reveals to both Soo-mi and the audience that Soo-yeon is dead? But then we get another twist, which is that the stepmother character isn't even real, and it's an alternate personality created by Soo-mi. And even though this felt still kind of convoluted and confusing, the movie still had me at this point. But right at the end, the movie lost me because it kept going in and out of flashbacks, changing locations and changing perspectives, and I wasn't able to really put together what this movie was trying to tell me. I understand the principle of show, don't tell. In a movie, it makes more sense to convey something with imagery as opposed to just telling the audience that with words. But sometimes I feel like words can be very helpful. I'm pretty sure that they told us the backstory of how the real mom died, why they hate the stepmother, why the stepmother hates them, all of that without any words at all, and it went over my head. I didn't know what the movie was trying to tell me. The movie starts out with you feeling like there's a lot of backstory that you don't know, and they reveal it to you as slowly and gradually as possible, like only when it's absolutely necessary. And I don't know if that was the best approach, because it made things kind of unclear at the end. And for what I can tell, the American remake of this movie, The Uninvited, it's sort of the opposite. It's like front-loaded with information, and they tell you stuff, and apparently that made it very easy to spot the twist from a mile away. This was a movie where I needed to read a plot summary to figure out what the ending was trying to get across. And I like to believe that I am a fairly attentive movie watcher. I mean, I like to think that I'm able to notice things and pick up on subtleties. But the big extended reveal at the end of the movie was just an overload of information with no context. I don't think a movie should have to be watched multiple times for you to be able to get a basic understanding of what happened in it. And yes, there was a language barrier, and I might not have been focusing on the right things, but I don't think that the reveal in this movie was handled very well. I do think that there's a lot of really good things in this movie. Some of the scares were great. The first two twists I thought were executed very well. It was a movie that kept me invested and curious up until the end. It just felt like they put an awful lot of stock in the audience being able to pick up on vague implications in order to put up this, like, backstory. It's not that the story doesn't work, it's just the fact that the way that they told the story didn't work, at least in my opinion. I respect this movie and will give it a positive review just for the first twist alone. It completely blindsided me, but there was no points where I thought, wait, that can't be true. And the fact that there was another twist nestled into that twist was, I think, very interesting. I just didn't like the way that the last part of it was handled. I just hope I was able to properly lay out my thoughts on this movie here. So, thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.